Welcome back to JDA Football. On this episode of interviews, we have got Harvey SCFC. Hello, Harvey. All right?
I'm not bad. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. How are you coping with this lockdown?
I'm missing the football, especially the last couple of days. You know, it's been really nice. You know, all you want to be doing is go and watch the football with your mates. But obviously, it's for the right reasons. They've stopped the season and hoping they can. I'm hoping they can resume quite quickly.
Yeah,
when it's safe to do so.
So we'll just ask you some questions about what's going on in the football world and about some Stoke questions as well.
Yeah.
So Alex, if you want to get us starting off.
Who do you think's been Stoke's best player in the last 10 years? Obviously, you've had like Arnautovic and Shaqiri, but who do you think's been the most influential?
Last 10 years, talking 2010 onwards, I'd probably have to give it to Arnautovic. You know, we signed him in 2013. A sort of unknown player, you know. He'd been doing a bit in the Bundesliga at Werder Bremen, come over to Stoke and scored loads and loads of goals for us over a 3 to 4 year period. And in that season, we did go down. We were certainly missing his goals. Sometimes I didn't think he was the most effective player. I didn't think his work rate was the best some weeks, but definitely a really good player. And looking back, especially now, I don't tend to look at him in the fondest memory by the way he handled his transfer to West Ham. I thought that was pretty disgraceful towards us Stokies, and he's done the same to West Ham. So,
what exactly did he do?
Signed a new contract, I think it was January of 2017, kind of committed his future to Stoke, and then 6 months later hands in a transfer request and goes to West Ham, puts on his Instagram story on his way down to London, basically with his 2 fingers up, saying off to London.
That's shocking. He put his 2 fingers up on it?
Sort of doing that, like, because in some countries they do it the other way around for like sort of peace, don't they? But I don't think it was peace. I think it was more of a aim towards us,
sticking him up.
He celebrated against you as well, didn't he? When he returned?
Yes, he did. He celebrated in front of the booth and then, which is like our, you know, you've Aston Villa have got the Holte End, Liverpool have got the Kop, we have the Bootham End, and he did that in front of the Bootham End.
That's shocking.
That game was so toxic as well because Mark Hughes at the time wasn't in the best form. A lot of fans wanted him gone, me being one of them. And yeah, that game was probably one of the worst games I've ever been, and the only game I've ever left before the final whistle.
That's
3-0 loss.
Joe?
So the FA they've obviously shown some favouritism between the leagues, favouring higher leagues. How do you think it's been handled in the Championship?
In terms of what, like refereeing or just coverage?
The coronavirus and like how they've helped out teams.
Okay. To me, the Premier League, I feel like the Premier League is where all the money's at. People don't want to watch Luton versus Blackburn. People want to watch Manchester United versus Liverpool. They want to watch Manchester City versus Aston Villa on a Super Sunday sort of thing. That's what people want to watch. People don't want to watch the Championship as much as they would the Prem. Obviously, being a Championship fan, I'd rather watch the Championship because it's the league my club are in. But if I was a neutral fan, didn't support a team, I probably would watch the Premiership because it's the best in England. Non-league, I don't feel like gets enough support as it deserves, especially as some of the clubs, I think, over the last week have really struggled. I think they may have gone under. Don't quote me on it, but I think they might have gone under. I just feel like higher up you go, there's more money. I think that's what, obviously, the FA want. Not so much money, but I think it's sort of they've built the Premier League, you know, into what it is today, and I think, you know, it's their little baby sort of thing.
I found it really irritating last season because we were on the up. I found it really irritating that some of our tensest games, like the hardest games we would have had, weren't being broadcast, and most of the Premiership games are, and that really annoyed me.
I think I'm not a fan of the whole Sky and BT controlling when fixtures are. Like, we had West Brom and Derby at end of January, both probably our best 2 away days we have in the whole season. They were both moved to a midweek night, and that obviously means a lot of people can't go because they have work in the morning or work that day and they can't make it. I'm not a fan of the whole rescheduling fixtures though, and I'm glad they're sort of getting rid of this 3 p.m. blackout that I'm hearing. So the 3 p.m. blackout, I'm not sure if you know, it's like basically 3 p.m. games can't be broadcast in the UK. It's to help lower league clubs, but I think we'll have to see how it goes in the next couple of weeks. We'll have to see how it goes in the next couple of weeks.
I understood why they did the 3 p.m. thing, but obviously it's frustrating as a fan that your team is being broadcast or would have been broadcast and it's just not.
Yeah, especially like for, say, someone lives in London and they support Stoke, getting up for every home game is very difficult, especially like midweek games. Obviously, you've got them on Sky, on the red button, but, I think it would help a lot of fans. And I think what they're doing with the iFollow is great. But I think it needs to be more accessible because sometimes the quality on iFollow isn't very good.
Yeah. So they're really relying on you to bring them like Stoke content, really, aren't they?
Sort of. I know a lot of people don't like the whole vlogging thing, but a lot of people do look at me for what it was like at a match. I know I've got a few followers in Australia, South Africa that obviously can't make it for every home game. And they sort of use me as a way of experiencing the match, and that's why I call it a match day experience because it's what it's like.
My question is: Stoke have wasted millions on players over the last few years with poor attitude and underperforming, such as Berahino, Vimmer, Mbula, I think you say his name.
Yeah.
Loads out on loan as well, including Tibio Linden. I think he should be in the first team or on the bench for Stoke. So who's in charge of the recruitment, and are they good at the job if they're making all of these decisions?
Players out on loan we've got at the moment are basically the players that we spent that 50-60 million on. Luckily, Verlinden's come back in the last couple of months from his loan spell at Bolton. I'm not sure why I went out to Bolton in the first place because he's good enough to get into the first team. On about recruitment, in charge of that was Tony Scholes and Mark Cartwright. Mark Cartwright stepped down in September, I think. Nathan Jones brought in his head of recruitment from Luton, and neither of Nathan Jones or the head of recruitment from Luton, I forgot his name, but they're gone. So I'm not sure what we're doing on that front. Tony Scholes is the chief executive, so he's in charge of getting all the deals done. Don't get me wrong, he's brought in some fantastic signings like Bojan, Shaqiri, Arnautovic, but he has also made a few mistakes. Definitely overpaying for Wimmer. In Bula, I know the same window we could have signed Axel Witsel. That same window. And Dye, I felt was a bit of a panic signing. End of January we were in that bottom 3. I think it was just a bit of a panic signing. He was really good for us a couple of months ago at the start of the season, but fell out of favour with O'Neill. Etebo, another one you touched on there. Really good player last season, definitely my player of the season for us. But yeah, he's gone on loan to Getafe last 6 months. I don't think he wanted to be around. So I'm happy enough with the midfield now. There was Klukas, Allen and Powell.
Yeah. Alex?
So since you've only just recently gone down to the Championship in comparison to some other teams, do you think the atmosphere is better in the Championship than the Premier League?
It depends what team you go for both. Liverpool's, your Man City's, your Manchester United's, very tourist clubs. They're not going to have the best atmospheres. I know Liverpool have got their cop, but that's all that really sings there. Man City have got a group of about 50 to 100 fans that sing, but apart from that, they don't really have any atmosphere. I've been to Manchester City a few times and it's quiet. But then you get some grounds in the Championship, like your Ellen Road, they're really loud and rocking every week. Stoke's atmosphere, very good in the Premiership. We were very famous for our atmosphere. Championship, it can be good, but most of the time it's fairly flat. I wouldn't say flat, I'd say there's a no-when the Reds every now and again, and then if we score, there's a Delilah sort of thing. But that's, your normal.
Yeah. When Villa were in the Championship, all the away fans were absolutely they were going mental for everything, singing their hearts out. But in the Premiership, you don't seem to get that as much. The away fans are almost subdued. And
I feel in the Premier League, I don't know. I think there's just a bit more something. There's something else in the Championship. There's just some. It's hard to put my finger on it, but there's just that something else. There's a bit more of a spice in the Championship. If you're talking about fan bases, they're more passionate because you've got the people who are. I'd say your attendances aren't as big, but then you've got the people who want to be there and who want to sing. I think that's part of the reason.
Yeah, everyone who goes wants to be there. It's not just for a day out. And obviously it's a lot more competitive because all the teams are closer together on the skill base because of the budgets and stuff.
Yeah, the Championships, atmosphere-wise, is brilliant. I'd probably say there's only a handful of grounds that don't have the best atmosphere. Hull, Wigan, Reading sort of teams. Yeah. But they don't fill the ground. So, but yeah, the Premier League can be decent for atmospheres. You look at Burnley, Sheffield United, they've got good atmospheres. Villa, yourselves. But yeah, it's that sort of, it depends what team you are and how,
Yeah. Where'd you see Stoke in 5 years' time? Do you think you'll be in the Premiership? And if so, would you be excited to go back to the Prem?
I think going back to the Prem would be brilliant. Whether we can get there in 5 years, it's possible. We've had a really good run of form under O'Neill. Whether we can keep that up when the season resumes is a different story. Hoping we can. If we can't, then I'm hoping we can, finish the season off relatively strong, go again next season. I'm not saying we're going to get promotion next season, because I've fell in that trap every year. I've said we're going to get promotion, but we didn't. So I'm not. Yeah. I'm just going to say mid-table. I'll take it because we have been lower mid-table last couple of seasons. As for where we'll be in 5 years, I reckon we'll be. I want to say we'll be in the Premiership.
It's always good to keep your hopes up in it.
Yeah, I'd say stable in the Premiership. I don't want to be in relegation battle first season because if we go up too soon, that's what will happen. But I think if we're going to go up, we're going to have to get it right. We can't be a yo-yo club.
Yeah.
Of course, your manager's Michael O'Neill, isn't it? And the former Northern Ireland manager. And he went on that amazing run in the Euros, I think it was, with them.
Yeah.
But do you think he can take you up to the playoffs and maybe get you to the Premier League?
The potential's there. Don't get me wrong. The squad we've got now is performing brilliantly. The only thing I'd say we need is definitely a backup winger, a proper left back, like an actual recognised left back, because that's someone we haven't got at the club. The left backs we do have in the club, Josh Timon and Ryan Corrigan, I'd probably say, and neither of them have properly broke through yet. But at the moment we've been playing Martin Zindi there. Yes, he's done a job, but he's not a recognised left back. We have to get that sorted in the summer. If that's one position I want us to sort in the summer, it's definitely that. But I have no doubt O'Neill can definitely sort that out. He's got great contacts from Northern Ireland. My one target would be Jamal Lewis from Norwich.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on where he goes, Tottenham have been interested. I'm also liking the look of Prosper Mendy from Norway, I think. He's not Norwegian, but he's in the Norwegian league. Really good player. But yeah, O'Neill, I think if we get that left back sorted, I think we could get playoffs in a couple of seasons. It all depends how everyone else does. I feel like if the season does get voided, I think your top two spots are definitely going to get taken by Leeds and West Brom. They're definitely the strongest sides in the division. then that playoff picture is almost wide open there because you've got, I'll probably say about 8 teams that could get into them 4 playoff spots.
Yeah, it's very competitive.
It's a great league. When we got relegated, I thought Championship's going to be dreadful. It's going to be a farmers league sort of thing. But actually, once you're down there, it's not too bad. There's some great away days, and the football's not even that bad.
It's high quality, and the fans want to be there, and that's what I really liked about it.
Some of the football you can get. You look at Leeds, some of the stuff they've been playing, some of the stuff we've been playing under O'Neill. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, it's gutting when one of your players moves on to the Premiership and plays for a high club.
That's the only danger you kind of have. It's like with Hull with Jared Bowen. You know, look at how much their seasons fell off since he's left. It's all about getting your bargain players. I know the one I always allude to when talking about bargains, you've got John McGinn that Villa signed last year.
Yeah.
You know, I think it cost them $2 million or something like that, and he was probably one of their players of the season.
Yeah, he was definitely, if not the player of the season, the second. Him and Grealish are phenomenal.
Yeah, and exactly, Grealish cost them nothing because he's an academy product, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
Your academies I think, being a Premiership side, you look at Manchester City, their only player really to have broken through is Phil Foden in recent years. And I wouldn't say he's properly broken through. The player before that was Micah Richards. And look at all that time an academy player hasn't broke through. You look at the Championship, you've got loads of teams that are full of youth academy graduates. You've got us, we've got Tyrese Campbell, Verlinden, Collins, Tommy Edwards. We've got Joe Bursick out on loan at Accrington. He'll probably be in the first team picture next season. You've got Harry Sutar, he's on loan at Fleetwood. Been brilliant for them. You got EFL Young Player of the Month a couple of months ago. Have I missed anyone academy wise? I'm not sure if I have, but we've got loads of great players that haven't broke through yet, that haven't touched in the first team yet, and I'm really looking for the future is bright for Stoke.
Do you think the Scottish League's overlooked?
Scottish League definitely overlooked. There's some really, really good hidden gems up there. I know that's where sort of we're going to focus our market in the transfer window, because there are a lot of really good players in the Scottish League. I just alluded to McGinn. He's come from up there. I'm trying to think of someone else who's come down from the Scottish League and torn it up in England.
There's not many.
There's not many, but you know, there's going to be that team that does have a Scottish wizard sort of thing.
I think Forest.
Yeah, whenever they come down, they're a surprise, but they're phenomenal.
Yeah, the Scottish League's full of quality, and I think the Scottish Premiership is a very sort of similar league to the Championship. Some decent football played, but it is very aggressive, very rough sort of thing.
Yeah. Alex, last round of questions.
Would you say that since being in the Championship, have Stoke developed like any rivals, seeing as you've got like your Port Vale, but they're in like League 2? Would you say you've like developed like hatred towards any club in the Championship?
The only really rivals that we have that you'd be a rival to are West Brom, but that's been for years. You know, they're not too far away. That's probably our derby game every season. And then you've got Derby County. I wouldn't say that's so much of a derby. I think it's a derby, but it's not a derby until the day of the game sort of thing. It's one of them derbies. It's not a derby through the year, but it's a derby on the day.
Yeah.
Rivalries in the Championship, I'll probably say Millwall with the Gary Rowett thing. You know, Gary Rowett's gone to Millwall, so there's a bit of rivalry there. I'll probably say Preston, maybe. Sort of. I know we don't really like Preston. But since being down here, we haven't really formed any rivals. That definitely not down here. Birmingham's always, obviously, we're not too far from Birmingham either, so that's sort of a derby, but not a derby sort of thing.
Yeah, because we have hatred towards a lot of clubs. I know that some people say, "Oh, I like this team now, my second team." But I don't really get that because we have hatred towards a lot of clubs like your West Hams, your Watfords, and when I think of clubs I like, I just think my team, and then I can't really think of any other team unless they're like abroad, say like Rangers or something.
I mean, my second team, I'm not really into that sort of second team thing, but if there's another team I follow, sort of thing, it's Schalke, German team. But I think my two English clubs are Stoke and then Newcastle Town, my local non-league club. But I'm obviously number one club's going to be Stoke, and then if I can get down to a Newcastle game, I will, because it's walkable distance for me, so, you know. But yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. There is rivalries, especially around where you are. Any team under an hour is sort of a derby. But yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a lot of trouble going on right now. How do you think your management has handled it?
We've been fantastic. Stoke have been absolutely brilliant with it. We've guaranteed pay until August for all staff and players.
That's great.
We've guaranteed that. The Coates family have donated £10 million to the local hospitals.
That's good.
Players making substantial donations as well. They've donated the stadium car park for a testing facility. Have I missed anything? Ex-players are doing raffles for signed shirts, match worn. I think that's it. I think I've done them all.
Yeah, because
we've handled it brilliantly. We've done a load of things, and we've been brilliant. We guaranteed all staff, pay sort of thing.
Yeah, lots of clubs have been offloading staff, and they've been reducing player wages, and obviously if you don't have to reduce player wages, that's phenomenal. And keeping the staff on, it's just they're working people as well.
It's them sort of people like the canteen staff at the training ground that keep the club ticking, that keep the players fed, keep them in the good diets. It's just people that sort of go under the carpet that when you take them away and we get football back and, you suddenly don't have your canteen staff, it becomes really difficult. And I'm glad we've kept everyone on because, it's the uncertain times. But I think what Barcelona have done, they've kept all their staff on but made the first team squad take a bit of a pay cut because, they can afford to take a pay cut, because they're probably the highest earners at the club, and it's the people again like the canteen staff, cleaners, concession, people who sell pies and stuff. It's them people that go under the radar, sort of.
Yeah, they sold the rights to the new camp as well, I think.
Yes, that's another thing. I know a load of clubs have donated stadiums, though, haven't they? For NHS.
Watford have done that, I think, for the Coach Road. Would you say Stoke's a family club?
Yeah, I feel like we're trying to boost the fan base by doing things that sort of appeal to younger supporters. So we've got, I know every club has it, but there's a bit of a family zone in the family stand a bit further down from where I sit. But there's all sorts. I do feel like there's a family aspect there. We try and keep ticket prices affordable. I know some clubs, I can think of Leeds off the top of my head, whose ticket prices are just through the roof.
Yeah.
And it then becomes, it's like, if you're only going for one match, it becomes like £100 day out. But I feel for Stoke, I would probably say for 2 adults, 2 kids, I'd probably say it's around 60, 70 off the top of my head. So it's not too bad. I think there needs to be caps on your tickets, though.
Yeah, definitely regulated.
There needs to be a cap.
So I don't know if you've heard about League One, League Two, Championship, all being divided into North and South leagues. What do you think about that?
Is that something that'll be temporary?
Yeah, I think it might just be for next season because Of course, this virus, some clubs might not cope as well as you.
So will it be like you have your North and South League, but then you'll have a bit of the playoffs?
Yeah.
Immediately you think, right, who are the northern teams? We've got Leeds. Depending on where you put the border, you've also got West Brom. You've got who else would be a northern club? It's
Preston.
not Preston as well. Yeah, they would be up there. Blackburn have been decent. So it's not too bad. You know, we'd be one of the strongest there, but it's not ideal because it's like, you know, we prefer it being a 2014 championship. But I feel like the EFL they're gonna get around it somehow. And the thing that you've got to remember as well, not everyone's going to be happy with the decision.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there might be a Millwall fan that quite likes going Borough away. So not everyone's going to be happy with it, but I think they're going to do it based on sort of keeping the TV companies happy and how it's going to be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. That's it for this episode of Interviews. Thank you for coming on, Harvey.
No worries, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, cheers. It's been great.
So yeah, make sure to check out all of our social medias, and we'll put Harvey's link in the description. So yeah, we'll see you in the next episode.